So I'm gonna do this quick. I think I'll just try to put this one up today because I had so many reviews that I saw The Little Mermaid today. But yeah, like I'm saying, I did recorded a bunch over the last week or so. Well, not this week, last week. Not a bunch, a couple. And I just haven't put them up. But Little Mermaid, okay, the live action one that came out today, I did not see it in 3D. I'm wondering, I've decided when I go see a movie, I'm going to not go to the 3D first. And if I like it a lot, I'll go back. But, it could have looked better, perhaps. But, let me move over a little bit. This didn't, it did not look good. So much of it didn't look good. I have the door open, if you can hear noise, because I just heard motorcycles and thing outside. 6 out of 10. Spoilers. I don't know. I'm sitting there. There's a lot. It didn't look right from the beginning. I could not get my mind off the fact that I'm looking at people who are pretending to be underwater. The problem you have in here is, whether we wanted to or not, we all just saw the second Avatar. We've all seen the other Avatars. We've all seen, okay, you hear this, right? Just because I started, none of this noise was 2 seconds ago. So, I remember, of course, I watched the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes stuff 1,000 million times. So the first time I remember them saying, oh, this is how you do fake underwater. You just, like, when, spoilers for Fellowship of the Ring, Sam is drowning, and he's all like that, you know, it's just a wind machine. I forget if they hang him upside down or whatever, but it's a wind machine, and then they just make it look like water. That works for a couple seconds. For a whole movie, because that's what it must be here. And at one point I was like, what would Esther Williams, I'm watching Little Mermaid going, what would Esther Williams say? Because none of these people look like they're underwater. They don't look moist. They don't look like anything. This is slightly whatever. So yeah, what else? I did that just now. So it didn't look right. And another thing about it not looking right, her eyeline. Her eyeline was bad some of the times. This isn't, you know, people complaining about having to look at a tennis ball instead of Jar Jar Binks. This is 20 years on. More than that. I don't understand why that's happening at this point in time. Her voice was good. She didn't bother me. I wasn't blaming her for that. You know, I go to movies sometimes and you know how much they cost. You know that they're supposed to be a quality motion picture. It's supposed to be a big tentpole movie. Well, I guess they don't have tentpoles anymore, but you get the idea. And you're just like, how do they make these? I don't want to call them mistakes. It's like, that shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? Not anymore. Not in the last 20 years, 10 years at least. I mean, and it seems to have gotten worse. So what else? Yeah, I don't blame any of the actors. The guy looks familiar. Was he in one of those? I feel like I saw him a lot in the trailer for one of those Dog's Purpose movies. The Eric guy, he's cute. Here's the thing with Little Mermaid. I don't remember it that well. Of course I knew all the big songs. I'm sure I watched it at least once or twice. But I was sitting there thinking, do I really remember the story? I knew that, I said spoilers already. I knew that she, you know, she sees a dude, she likes him, so she wants to be human, and some sea creature lady, witch or whatever. Unbelievable, no noise all this time. Just kids before, just kids making kid noise. Now it's all kinds of alarms and stuff. Some witch lady wanted to steal her voice. I thought it was about stealing her voice. So I'm sitting there watching this. And I'm like, this movie is stupid, isn't it? This is why I didn't watch it a bunch of times. The story itself is stupid. Am I right? In this one, which I felt like asking a kid. Oh, speaking of kids, they were bored, and secondly, those popcorn, those light up popcorn buckets that AMC was giving out, they're cute, but they're almost as bright as cell phones. So I don't know what a great idea that was for a theater, but there weren't that many of them, which, you know, I felt bad. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I wish I had money. I'd buy one for the little girl next to me. Not because I'm crazy, just because I felt bad, because I don't have money. But yeah, so I didn't mind Melissa. What the hell's her last name? McCarthy, right? I thought she did a pretty good job in that role. But the movie itself was, even some of the angles on the shots, and it said Rob Marshall at the end. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Rob Marshall. I did not like Chicago. You know why I didn't like Chicago? First, the sound, but secondly, the shots. The shot. I didn't like the way he filmed it. I always felt like he filmed it, which may have been his goal, like you're way in the back of a theater. Like you're viewing from the bad seats. But I did like 9 better. What did he do after that? Because I feel like I started like, I didn't like Chicago at all. And then I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, because it seemed like a lot of basic stuff. And I don't know that he did with a lot of special effects. Not off the top of my head, because right now I'm not remembering what the other things were that he did. So yeah, the girl's voice was great. She started reminding me of the girl who was supposed to be Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever, and her whole movie got scrubbed after it was made. The girl from In the Heights. Was it Leslie something? I don't remember. But she started reminding her. And there was a big song, again, I don't remember the old movie that well. There was a big song that Eric sang, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I think I like the way, because he wasn't singing Broadway like he was singing like if he was an 80s pop star, like if Corey Hart, you know, was not exactly like that, but you get the idea, was singing the song instead of somebody with a super trained Broadway voice, which he could have a super trained Broadway voice, and I'm just making shit up. But that's what he sounded like to me, and I was just like, oh, he was also reminding me a little bit of Michael Damian, Danny Romanotti. I saw Michael Damian on my birthday one year in Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So he reminded me a little bit of him. But I thought his voice sounded pretty good, but here's the thing. It sounded like they mixed the sound to drown him out with the orchestra. Like, they didn't think he sounded that great, so let's cover it up. I was like, did they not trust his voice or something? Because it was really weird. Because at some point I was like, I think I like his voice. Like, I was straining to hear it. But how can you do that? You can't hear it over the orchestra because you're not in the, you know, I can't like go in front of the orchestra and try to hear from the stage because it's not, it's movie, it's been mixed in. And I'm just, I think they purposely tried to mask his voice, which it didn't sound bad to me. What else? Oh, the one guy, whatever he was like Jeeves or something. He was the principal terrorist in True Lies. I was like, I know that guy. What else? Yeah, I couldn't pay attention to the crab. Now, I could be wrong, and I didn't look it up. The crab sounded exactly like the shrunken head from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know. Sounded exactly like. Was there that chicken that Aquafina was playing? Was there a chicken in the animated movie? Because like I was saying, I don't remember. What else? Yeah, the story's stupid. So What's-Her-Face tries to take her voice, but it's because she wants to get back at the Poseidon King or whatever. Is he Poseidon? I assume he's Poseidon. And Javier Bardem, I was like, he kind of looks like the drawing, but I don't remember that part at all from the old movie. So I'm literally like, did I only see this like did I only see the original Disney movie like 1.5 times? You know, I didn't read the books. So, what else? Yeah, it got convoluted, and then the spell, and she turns into a fish again because the sunset. But then it didn't take. Like, they were able to undo it. First of all, if they killed what's his face, if people, if there's no, if everybody, there's gonna be a generation of kids that expect people to come back to life after watching all these Marvel movies, after watching everything, and people die, but then they come back because there's the multiverse, or there's a bunch of kids who's you know, some unfortunate person in their family is going to pass away too young, and they're going to think, well, we'll get an Infinity Stone, or we'll get a time turner, or we'll just do a different spell to counteract the. And I'm just like, there's going to be a generation of kids who think that, oh, we can just do a spell and they'll come back. Yeah, so I, like I said, that makes it kind of always stupid, so I probably didn't get into it for that reason. What else? Yeah, I mean, I don't care. And anybody who's I watched the movie. Anybody who's still gonna complain about who they cast for what roles, I went in there knowing that. You can't go in and watch it and then complain about that sort of thing. So that's how they were doing it. So I'm judging the movie they were making, not it, saying it should have been this, or they should have cast somebody who looked like that. But like I said, her voice was great. I didn't mind him. What else was there in this movie? I wrote down some shit. I took notes. Real quick, let me look at them. I can't believe it. I remembered almost everything that was on my notes. I really didn't need my notes. There was only one thing when they went on their date or whatever, and she comes back and she's got her hat on. She put his hat on. She still couldn't talk yet. I was like, she looks like the whole video for Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Because between her hat and her outfit, it reminded me of that. I don't know why. But, yeah. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Like I said, I don't know what I probably would have given the original a 7 out of 10. Because, like I said, I barely remember it had a couple good songs. I don't know if I watched it how many times, and what year was that? Because that might tell me, like, if I was in high school or whatever. Hang on. So 1989 would have been either depending on the date, it would have been either my sophomore or junior year of college, high school. So yeah. I guess I just wasn't into it, because I saw Pocahontas. I liked Pocahontas a bunch of times. Pocahontas was probably after this, wasn't it? I don't know, but Hunchback of Notre Dame I absolutely loved. Those were after it, yeah, because they started to be a little bit more computery. Because I remember Hunchback had that crowd scene, and I was so impressed, because you never saw a crowd. They looked like they were moving in. I mean, they were all animated, but they looked like they were moving independently. But yeah, so I guess it wasn't a favorite movie of mine. This was, fine, watch it, whatever. It could possibly look better in 3D. I really don't see a reason to go back. I don't know why they drowned this kid's voice out. But yeah, it was fine. I think the little kids got bored. It seemed a little bit scarier than I would have thought for little kids, but like I said, I didn't remember any of that stuff. Like, apart from her wanting her voice, I didn't remember all the stuff after. I don't know if I knew there was a True Love's Kiss, because I probably saw it and was like, you're ripping off every other movie. But it's like, how many times can that fix it? And on a deadline, before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she'll prick her finger on the yeah, anyway, and then True Love's Kiss had to wake her up. Same thing with Snow White, right? But was Snow White on a deadline? Not a big Snow White fan. Anyway, so yeah, I saw it.